Hello everybody, this is Yoko's Anime Reactions, and this is going to be my review for Kaguya-sama Love is War Episode 4. I'm up to Episode 6 recorded at the moment, and I'm probably going to record at least 2 more episodes, maybe 3 tomorrow. And as for My Little Pony, I will try and get it recorded tonight before I go to bed and get it, edited and uploaded and everything. But I can't make any promises. So, obviously there's several different plot lines that happen in these episodes. I think there's at least 1, 2, 3, 4, I think, different plot lines in this one. One where they're trying to, Fujiwara ends up bringing in a bunch of cat ears, or cosplaying stuff, and Kaguya puts on cat ears. And she's trying to hide how she essentially loves it by hiding her smile. And Shirogane is trying to hide that he essentially loves seeing her in cat ears. In the end, they end up getting so awkward with all this that Fujiwara just grabs them and says, No, we're not doing this anymore. No cat ears. And doesn't take a picture of them, and so essentially they both lose. The next one is they're having to figure out who's going to go get all the stuff for the cultural fair thingy, whatever the heck it was, that they were cosplaying for, or going to cosplay for, and they decided to play a game to figure out who's going to go get the stuff by playing Forbidden Word, where essentially everybody writes a word and they give it to the person next to them, and the others try to get the person to say the word. But the person doesn't know what the word is that they're holding, and so the two losers of that game will go get the supplies. Shirogane tries to get it to where he and Kaguya will go get them because, strong guy, and Kaguya will know essentially what everything they'll need. So, it's a perfect team. So he's trying to get Fujiwara to win. So he picks a word, or tries to pick a word or phrase or whatever that she would never ever say, and thus help her to win. She turns it around on them by getting Kaguya to say her word, which I think is, what was it? Care? Something like that, essentially. Trying to play on Kaguya's feelings for her friendship feelings. And Shirogane ends up saying his word because he figured that, he would let Fujiwara and Kaguya go get the stuff, and he was gonna try and not say his word so that they could go get it because he felt bad until he realized that they were being played, obviously. And he ended up saying his word. I don't remember exactly what the word was, but he ended up saying it, and so, yeah, they ended up losing like he had originally wanted. Which, I still find it hilarious that these guys are not even realizing that they have feelings for each other. Actually, I think they do, they just don't want to admit it. Which, like I said, it doesn't make any sense to me as to why, I guess, this is the whole premise of the show, that whoever ends up confessing their feelings first ends up losing. But that's not really the case. They would both win because whoever ends up confessing first, the other person will end up knowing how they feel, and then they can freely confess their feelings, and thus they would end up together. So, and besides, the whole power struggle thing, that's just ridiculous, but yeah, that's just the whole point of the freaking show. And that's what makes it funny. And he ends up getting her phone number to be able to go over, when they're going to meet up to go get the stuff. And she is freaking out about sending him a text and when she should text him. And her maid is telling her essentially, to man up essentially and just text him. And I think she ends up, and it turns out that it's raining very hard over there and thus flooding, and thus they can't go. So she has to reluctantly tell him through text that, yeah, I can't go because of the flooding, and he's just, happy that she texted him, even though he's stuck out in the rain. Anyway, the last one is the actual cultural fair, where they have everybody who's French and their group, and it turns out he can't really speak a lick of French. And he's like, oh, okay, well, the others probably don't know it either. No, it turns out Fujiwara is fluent in French because her mother is a former diplomat and thus crammed all sorts of languages down her throat when she was a kid. Makes sense. And as far as I know, I think Kaguya knows some French as well, and then some guy, I think he's the president of the French club or something like that. I don't remember exactly, but this guy is conspiring to try and get this guy to essentially break by sending someone who's fluent in French over to him and insulting him to oblivion. However, they didn't count on him not knowing French, and thus he doesn't know he's being insulted, and thus he thinks that she's having a very aggressive conversation with him. And they're both freaking out, like, why is this guy not essentially becoming a puddle of embarrassed and upset mush on the floor like he's supposed to, because she's insulting him so freaking much that should be what was happening, but obviously we know that he can't understand a lick of what she's saying, and thus he doesn't know he's being insulted. And then Kaguya pops up out of nowhere and starts insulting him, and starts insulting her in French, so she freaks out and runs off. So yeah, she ultimately ended up helping him out, even though he had no clue. So yeah, this show is just getting more and more ridiculous and hilarious at the same time. I just wish that somebody would confess to somebody so we could see a cute couple going around, because that's ultimately what I look for in romance anime, is not only the build-up to being a couple, but the ultimate journey of them being a couple in the first place, going on dates and, stuff like that. Maybe that's what will pop up in future seasons. I don't know. And them, overthinking things, like one of them wanting to go do something, and then them overthinking, like, what do they want to go do, because the other didn't specify what they want to do. And it's just, why? I want to see the romance. I'm a big romantic at heart, and I know it's ultimately about the journey of them getting to that point, which it would suck if this show ended with them ended up being a couple, but not getting to see the journey past that point. Is anybody else with me on this one? Because I think that would be a good spinoff. Is ultimately their journey of being an actual couple. Anyway, I'll get to work on uploading this, and I'll see you guys next time.